So I've been driving around recently and just doing a lot of thinking and um, different subjects, and I was thinking about one in particular, gun violence, and how we as as a culture can get past the what's happening now and prevent it from happening in the future. Like school shootings and just needless gun violence. So I think what we're missing is kind of a forward-thinking kind of aspect, a component to this idea. We're thinking about gun control the sale of guns, and then we're thinking of banning all guns, and then we're thinking about more guns, maybe to there's a argument to be made on both sides, and it's kind of a good one. I can see on both sides where they're coming from. I really do, and I honestly have empathy for people that are getting blamed for these things, that just want to be responsible gun owners. So I believe because this gun issue and just guns in general have been adopted in our culture from the beginning of our country, and it has a lot of ties, deep ties into how we express ourselves independently as a nation. So I think that the best thing I could come up with to combat this problem is to get ahead of it, and if I had a magic wand here, I would just make this happen and see how it turns out. But making a course that is a required course in middle school, even possibly, that is designed to educate kids on guns, and not with a type of an editorialized kind of angle on this whole thing, but more of a just global kind of understanding the history of where guns have came in, have been used in the past in positive ways and in negative ways, and just give a very broad description of what guns mean to this country. And I feel like if there's if there's an intellectual enough approach, but still very simple and direct, with this method, that I feel like that's a good way of kind of blanketing an issue, or kind of letting it seep into the future generations, but in a positive light, like in a positive light or a realistic light, not positive or negative, just realistic. And by doing this, I think what it does is it kind of gives it. We're a young nation, because we have to figure out these things and try and make mistakes, and there's so many things we've done bad as a country, but our empathy is growing, and we're able to kind of understand both sides now. And so I think it's about time to get to a place where we can talk about things, issues, and we can have debates in the classes. But it was going to give us an appreciation and respect for guns as a whole, rather than just putting them in some categories and they're all good or they're all bad. It's just realistic. Like French, they introduced people to wine like that early on, and I believe they're the numbers there of drunk driving and just kids dying of alcohol poisoning, I think below us percentage-wise as a nation. And I think that's because we've taken this approach to kind of not talking about it until it's a problem. Like everything, really. Sex, everything, So having a course, we have courses to teach about sex, but even those are getting kind of vilified. But so I think just getting ahead of it and making a mandated program where we can talk openly about guns and what's happening with them, And I think those kids that are taking those classes are going to go back home, discuss it with their parents, and it's just going to spread, dendritically through the communities. And hopefully, as a nation, we can kind of gain this global understanding of guns rather than being some kind of evil machine. So, and personally, I'm not on either side of this. I mean, I'm a little bit more leaning towards the, why people have to be violent and why we should all live in harmony, but that's not realistic. And we have to look back at how our nation was started, where we come from, and then we can't change overnight, but we can realistically look at these issues and kind of dissect them and take them apart and analyze. And I think it's ultimately going to lead to a smarter, more well-adjusted America. So that's just a thought. My name is Cameron, and just leave me a comment below with what you think, and send it to a congressman or something, or this teachers board or something, education board. But it's just a thought I had. So thanks. I'll see you next time.